very warm welcome back to what will be the last video in this series, talking about the A-ranked films in my catalogue from 2025. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Once again, the great thing about with all of these videos in this particular batch are that they're all ranked A, and I had a good time with basically all of them, and I would very much be open to rewatching all of them again in the future. So let's kick things off here. So I've got a 1v1. We've got Paul Verhoeven, the director. I watched two of his films last year. I watched RoboCop 1987, 18 rated film, and then another one he did in 1997 called Starship Troopers. I've been meaning to watch Starship Troopers for so long because basically it's inspired, at least to my understanding, the Helldivers games, and I've not yet played Helldivers 2. It's on my list to play and check out because I know I'll enjoy it. Had a good time with Helldivers 1, but Helldivers 2 is on my list, and I'd always heard that Starship Troopers is excellent, at least from what I'd read over the years on Reddit, and so I made the time. And I'm glad I did. I also made the time for RoboCop. So, yeah, two sort of slightly different films. RoboCop, a bit more of a science fiction action film in the sense of it's kind of about one lead character. Not as much of an ensemble cast in this one, but it's yes, this is it. So the lead comes to terms with these lingering fragments of his humanity. So it's essentially the idea of using a human, turning him into a cop that's part robot, and how he sort of goes about that. It's sort of, there's this dark satirical element to it that Paul Verhoeven imbues into his scripts, and yeah. So I'm just reading the wiki here because it's hard to describe a Paul Verhoeven film. To try and sell it, I don't know why I'm finding it a struggle to kind of sell it, but I know that I'm already really looking forward to rewatching this film, and I'm already really looking forward to rewatching his other film that I've just mentioned, Starship Troopers, which is quite different. There's a lot more of it's science fiction action, to do with intergalactic space war. So you've got RoboCop, which is very much like boots on the ground, human crime. Let's get a robot to go deal with the human crime, mostly. And then you've got Starship Troopers, which is intergalactic space war kind of stuff, but they're both kind of imbued with satire and comedy into their script. And yeah, Starship Troopers essentially, both of them really parodying kind of American culture as well. The director himself is Dutch, so he's got that kind of outside view of American culture and American life, where he was able to kind of, I suppose, approach them both with a willingness to parody American culture in a similar way that maybe like a Grand Theft Auto does. It's kind of a British brainchild in a sense creatively, in terms of looking at American culture and parodying certain aspects of it. I rate RoboCop 82 and Starship Troopers 97 so highly. 87, sorry, RoboCop 87, Starship Troopers 97. I rate these both really high. I've given them both an A+, but I would say they were definitely both knocking on the door of S tier. They could have quite easily have ended up there because they were really high up in my mental rankings from last year. So I highly recommend both the original RoboCop and Starship Troopers. In terms of the face-off, I've given it to Starship Troopers, but it's pretty close. I'd say it's pretty close. I'd probably give it to Starship Troopers just because I've been maybe more aware of it over the years. It's kind of made its way into my mind through the games that I've played, and I've always been thinking I must watch it, and I finally made the time last year, and I'm glad I did. So let's segue over to the final four, the Fantastic Four, the final four, of which the Fantastic Four First Steps was one of them. So these last four here are comics or graphic novels. We've got the Fantastic Four First Steps, 2025. I saw that in the cinema. We've got Dread 2012. Saw that on digital streaming. We got Wanted 2008 digital streaming, and V for Vendetta 2005. All four of these are loosely based on some kind of comic or graphic novel. Yeah, where to begin? I had a good time with all four of these, to be honest. Let's go straight into V for Vendetta. So we've got Hugo Weaving, the man, the myth. Agent Smith is in this, people, and we've got him as well, I've just blanked. He's in Middle Earth as Elrond. Yeah, so he's great. Natalie Portman's in this as well. Stephen Fry makes an appearance. Like, I had a really fun time with this. Film. I highly recommend it. In the same way, I highly recommend Wanted 2008. James McAvoy, Angelina Jolie. There's just so much style in this film. Wanted 2008. Morgan Freeman is in there. Back in 2008, he was just, he was the man. Like, he was the man for style, and combined with Jolie, James McAvoy as a younger James McAvoy than we're used to today. But I had so much fun with this film. It also ties into, which I let myself go off on a tangent talking about the Wanted game. Like, I had this odd, like, fondness kind of left field for the Wanted game, Wanted Weapons of Fate, which I rented and got all of the achievements on over like a 2-day period. And so, yeah, like, further made me get attached to the film. I think around that time, I think, to be honest, some of this is just the moment in time. Like, Wanted 2008, I was 16. Like, this was a cool film to be watching at 16, right? It's got that kind of style and that kind of violence maybe that I was craving at the time. And having rewatched it last year, like, I still rate it high. Had a good time with it. James McAvoy is always great to watch, so highly recommend this film. Also in this bracket we've got Dread 2012. So we've got Carl Urban in there playing Dread. I had a really good time with this film. The other thing I remember appreciating about Dread was it comes in under 100 minutes. Yeah, 95 minutes. So it's like a future sci-fi action film. You get brownie points for that. You're under 100 minutes, you're an action film, you get brownie points for that. So, yeah, I had a good time with this. Like, I've always been intrigued by the Judge Dredd universe, but I've never made the time beyond, beyond, like, the Dread vs. Death Rebellion game, which I remember playing when I was younger, but I don't know if I've completed it. I haven't since gone back to try and complete it. Yeah, this Dread 2012 film certainly ranks a hell of a lot higher in my estimation than the 1995 Stallone film, I'll tell you that for nothing. Yeah, Dread, I give this solid A, for sure. And then we've got Fantastic Four, The First Steps, which I give also an A. So all four of these films, in this particular bracket, I'm giving an A. Yeah, it's hard because it's early days with the Fantastic Four First Steps. Like, I'm pretty much sold on the cast. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Yvonne Moss-Bachrach, who not always seeing because has the challenge of being the Thing. So when I think of the Thing, I'm not thinking of him. I'm thinking of the creature, the Thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's still early days with the whole. I mean, I'll keep talk forever about where on earth are we with MCU? What's going to happen this year with Doomsday, and you're bringing in the Fantastic Four and da da da. As a standalone film, I enjoyed it, and I managed to get it nudged up to A. I think initially I might have had it down at like B plus, but then I was thinking about it. The other films had in B, and I thought, no, there is enough. The cast are good as the characters. I did believe in the sense of fourness about the Fantastic Four in this as a unit that just helped me carry it through to A. But that being said, it probably wasn't my favourite comic or graphic novel film I saw this year. If I was gonna rank it, I'd probably put V for Vendetta, Wanted, and Dread probably all ahead of it, to be honest.
So yeah, it's an interesting twist there, but again, a solid film. I've given the face-off winner in here to Wanted. I remember deliberating on this for a little while because there are aspects of V for Vendetta and Dread that I also really enjoy. Um, I've given it to Wanted, but as a second one, I probably could have given it to Dread. Um, the other thing with Dread as well, I've just remembered, it's yet another Alex Garland written screenplay. Um, so yeah, I've watched so many good films this year. This is essentially wrapping up the last video in this batch of A-ranked films I watched in 2025. Like, I watched so many good films in 2025. So many films, most importantly, that I've enjoyed. You know, um, and yeah, these four yet again that I had a good time with, and my I have hope for the future with the Fantastic Four and MCU still. The long term future that they can figure things out and we can get things going again. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, had a lot of fun with these films. And with that being said, that wraps up this video and this batch of my A-ranked films for 2025. So I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Spoiler alert, it's my S-tier films. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of planning around that and figure out how I want to talk about that, because yeah, there's a lot more in my A tier than there was in my S tier, which is like my cream of the crop, so I have to figure that out. But with that being said, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one very soon. So until then, farewell, bon voyage, and I'll see you soon.